Greetings once again, both heroes and villains alike. Duuz-Diz-Din, back once again with more My Hero Academia. Previously, we found the story of how Himiko Toga managed to overcome both Uravati and Froppy, despite the fact that we saw that they actually had a very elaborate plan on how to overcome her. But she was just too crafty, as we found out that, unfortunately, Ravati's last talk with her, which hilariously enough, time of recording, just occurred in the anime, actually helped to propel her even further down the path of villainy. So Toga's tenacity was at an all-time high. Her will could not be broken, and her faith in her allies indomitable. Just as she had managed to deceive the two and taken some of Bubai Goara's blood, at the same time she initiated the Sad Man's Parade. In comes Kurogiri, fresh from Spinner managing to accomplish his mission to transport Toga and the Twice clones to the battlefield where All for One was, as well as the recently arrived Dabi. But just as Kurogiri's warp gate started to close, we saw that both Froppy and Uravati managed to make their way through, joining the major fray. Will they be of any help in the oncoming onslaught, or will they be caught underfoot as several dangerous people, who are all on time limits, do their best to crush as many heroes as they can before their time runs out? What will happen? Join me as I find out, won't you? This is an awesome color spread, and it continues on the really popular, RPG My Hero Academia thing going on. I think this is probably more than likely based off of a top 10 character popularity poll. It's interesting that there are no villains whatsoever, but I've heard that the villains aren't as popular in Japan as they are in other countries. But I just love the elaborate look that Horikoshi gave to all of them. Makes me wonder, once My Hero ends, maybe Horikoshi will do a fantasy series. Alright, My Hero Academia, number 376, on Knife's Edge. Ooh, intense. You have Froppy and Uraraka having come through the portal, plummeting into essentially what is a sea of Twices / Togas. As Uraraka thinks to herself, we still haven't had our chat about romance, but one of the clones, or maybe the real Toga, in Twice's form, says, can't take a hint. Yeah, the visage kind of melts off and she says, I'm not some blushing schoolgirl in love anymore. You got that, hero? And you see the overwhelming flood of Twices just rushing through. Fire from Dabi just burning everything as either the heroes are being overwhelmed by the sea of Twice or the flames. Pixie Bob sets up a wall of earth telling the heroes, fall back for now. Get behind my earthen wall. Now we see She-Mage, the Shroom Girl, being rescued by Kamui Woods. And she says, again? Really? I can't spread my spores with all this fire shroom. Another hero says, is that Mad Dog? Or Wild Dog or whatever? Nah, he's too legible in how he talks. He says, get those tied up villains out of here or else they'll burn to a crisp. And as Uraraka uses her ability to allow Froppy and her to float over the chaos down below, Froppy says, not just Kurogiri, Dabi's here too. I hope Todoroki and Shoji are okay. Oh, in comes Tokoyami and Jiro, who calls out, Uravati, Froppy, and she grabs Uraraka's hand. Uraraka says, Tsukuyomi, earphone jack. Tokoyami says, the battle is doomed to devolve into chaos. Froppy sees Jiro's injury and says, oh no, Kyoka, your ear. Jiro says, I count myself lucky that this is all the Demon Lord took from me. Since the Twice army came out of that same warp gate as you two, I'm guessing that's actually Toga. Uraraka says all of Japan will be buried unless we stop her. Tokoyami says, but Dabi's raging heat is far too fierce. Toga keeps multiplying despite the fire, so all we can do is flee. This is no proper battle, not anymore. The strategy to divide and conquer has failed. And you see Dabi looming over Endeavor, who's fighting back the sea of Twices. Endeavor thinks to himself, those flames on his chest, is that the phosphorus move Shoto mentioned? He says to Dabi, Toya, what did you do to Shota? Dabi says, I was hoping to bring you his head, but he was a tough cookie. Now my grand dream will never come true, but at the very least I'll take as much as I can, whatever you hold dear, whatever you try to protect. All for One sees this and laughs to himself. He activates something, thinking, the wind now blows my way. Cascading chains of events, they're all working in my favor. Oh right, it's how he's always like thinking ahead. Certain routes have kind of come to fruition. That's what we're seeing. He thinks Kurogiri probably warped himself to Tomura's location. Ultimately, I would have obtained that long-range warp quirk for myself, since its superiority to my imperfect sludge warp. It's superior to my imperfect sludge warp. Not that it matters. I'll ride this wave of chaos and get myself to Tomura. And he launches himself, I guess, flying in the direction of Shigaraki, only for Hawks to try to block his path. But it looks like he gets just knocked back the moment he tries to. Yeah, it's some kind of air shield that All for One just blocked the attack with. All for One says, "Oh, Hawks, you should face up to Bubai Gawara's dying wish." Hawks, with blood spurting from his forehead, says, "We know that the rewind effect puts you on a timer, but you sure seem in an awful hurry, pal. What, don't you have faith in Shigaraki? In that perfect body of yours?" But the smile disappears from All for One's face as he says, "So concerning. In the truest sense, that body is not yet complete. There's a reason why this version of me is still essential." Hawks then calls out, "Endeavor! The divide and conquer plan is a bust. Our allies can't battle in this nasty heat. And if we fall here, the villains are gonna converge on Deku and Tomura. Please put a stop to Toya." Naturally, All for One is amused, saying, "Such a cruel command for that one-armed, half-conscious fellow. As you so nicely put it, defeating me post-haste is his mission here. Yet you tell him to abandon his duty?" Hawk shouts, "Enough! That's enough bullcrap out of you. After all, you already lost once to our number one. He ain't abandoning any duty." All for One says, "Splitting hairs, I see," as Dabi goes rushing in on his father. Endeavor starts to reignite his flames, thinking, "Duty. This time around, I'm really seeing you. So it's really gonna be it. Endeavor versus Dabi." I don't see Hawks taking down All for One, stalling him at most. I'm not sure what the other kids are gonna do. I really do feel like it's up to Uraraka to somehow stop Toga. I'm just not sure how she's gonna do it. I'm guessing appealing to what humanity Toga has in her, letting her know that there is a way for her to live, to exist, but I'm not sure what she could possibly say. What has the relationship between those two been building up to? And I also think it's unfortunate that in the end, Shoto's biggest fight, he's not going to be involved in it in the end. Honestly, I'm not sure. I could see this going in a few different directions. With Hawks versus All for One, I don't see him defeating him. I see a couple of paths for Endeavor. One where he manages to fight down Dabi and they both die. Or Shoto shows up, takes on Dabi, and Endeavor goes after All for One and probably dies fighting him. I could see that happening. It's kind of a shame, all things considered, but I could see that happen. Because we're really getting to, this is the end of a line for those characters. I don't see any of the Class 1A kids biting it, though. But, I mean, they're already living on borrowed time. All for One, Dabi, they're going to die. That is only a matter of time. I feel like potentially Hawks and Endeavor could die here. I don't know. I mean, they have been maimed. A lot of characters have been maimed throughout the course of this, so we'll see. But let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. Also remember to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications so you don't miss out on the next video. But until then, I've been Duuz-Diz-Din, and I hope to see you in the next video. Until that time, bye-bye.